When we talk about love, it's usually all about the big, flashy stuff, the romance, the pure joy, the happily ever afters. But what about the rest of it? The complicated, messy, and, let's be honest, the silent parts of a relationship. Well, today we're diving into a publisher that's all about giving a voice to exactly that. The topics we so often keep hush-hush.
Wow. I mean, that quote just hits you, right? It perfectly captures a feeling that so many people go through but can almost never find the words for. It's that painful paralysis, that feeling of being in emotional limbo that really defines some of love's toughest chapters.
And that quote really gets us to the heart of it all, being caught between a rock and a hard place. We're going to explore those really complex feelings that just don't fit into neat little boxes. The gray areas in our relationships that are just so hard to navigate.
Okay, so take this idea. It comes from a piece called A Polite Break-In, and it explores a kind of love that feels more like a habit than an actual choice. The core idea is realizing you're just rereading the same chapter of a book you never even chose to open in the first place. It's not loud or dramatic, but it's such a deep and honestly super common struggle.
And then there's this side of the coin, where every single memory feels like a debt, and every moment comes with a price tag. This is the idea that love can literally become a transaction, where you just keep giving away little pieces of yourself until, eventually, your soul just feels completely bankrupt. What a powerful and painful way to describe a love that just takes and takes.
And this brings us right back to that central conflict, that emotional catch-22. On the one hand, the whole situation feels way too delicate, too broken to keep going. But on the other hand, the hurt is just so deep that leaving feels absolutely impossible. It's that constant push and pull that just keeps people stuck.
So you have to ask, right? If these feelings are so incredibly common, why don't we ever hear about them? Why are these stories always shoved into the shadows, becoming these topics that are kept hush?
Well, here's your answer. There is this huge pressure on all of us to present this perfect picture to the world. This quote just nails that massive gap between the lovely lives we pretend to have and the complicated, often painful realities we're actually living. We're all supposed to be fine all the time, even when we're anything but.
But what if there was a place that was dedicated to closing that gap? That brings us to the creative force we're looking at today, FTLOP, which stands for the Love of Poetry. Their entire mission is to create a platform for these exact experiences.
And here's their mission, straight from the source. It's not just about romantic love. It's about all the difficult truths we bottle up inside. This publisher wants to tackle everything, from big systemic issues to our deepest, most personal struggles. Basically, bringing everything we hide out into the light.
And this isn't some abstract corporate mission statement either. It is deeply, deeply personal. The founder, Sammy Brown, she started this whole thing based on her own life, on the lessons she learned from love. So this mission is born from a very real place, with the genuine goal of helping other people through their own journeys.
Okay, so you have this really powerful mission, but how does that actually become something tangible? How do you take that big idea and turn it into a message people can actually hold in their hands? It starts right here, with their very first book, A Toxic Love Story, Unlearning Love. I mean, that title just perfectly sums up the whole mission, doesn't it? It's not about finding some flawless, perfect romance. It's about healing. It's about unlearning all the toxic patterns we've been taught to accept as normal.
And it is so clear that this message is hitting home. The book has a perfect 5-star rating from its readers, which just goes to show you how needed and how powerful this kind of raw, honest storytelling really is. People are seeing themselves in these pages.
And really, this is the ultimate goal. The book isn't just about exploring pain for the sake of it. It's a starting point. It's a tool for recovery. And it's a promise that even after the absolute worst emotional experiences, healing really can begin.
So this brings us to our final takeaway. And honestly, it might be the most important one. The entire philosophy of this publisher is about looking deeper, about finding meaning where it's not always obvious.
This is their tagline, and it's really a call to action for every single one of us. It's telling us that the real story, the real truth, isn't always in what's said out loud. Nope. It's in the pauses, in the contradictions, in all those feelings we're too scared to even name. It's about learning to read our own lives with a lot more attention and a lot more compassion.
So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this question. If you really took a moment to look closer at your own experiences, at the quiet contradictions and the unspoken feelings, what's the true message that's waiting there, between the lines of your story?